What's happening? What's cracking? What's cracking? What's happening? Let's start out with something weird.
Who's this? Hey, what are you doing up in the clouds, boys? Come on down. So, Jim. Well, I don't know what that means, sir. What is actually happening? Well, you see, the government of America has once again betrayed merry old England, just like back in the day, and their senators are saying that Sony, they are basically taking advantage of their position and making it harder for Xbox to make money. Well, do you know, Javi? Hey, Jimmy J, Jimmy R. What's going on? I've had it with you. I've been seeing you in my dreams every evening. I want nothing more than to watch you choke and burn in your sleep. Man, you need to fucking get a massage or a fucking hooker or something, dude. What's the matter? What's the matter, Jimmy? Am I playing too hardball for you? Playing too hardball for you?
Oh man, so that is what I woke up to this morning, checking out and watching. I was just like, what is happening right now? David Jaffe just had to go in one more time. But anyways, welcome everybody to another episode of Gaming Got Me in the Feels. I am here, Ham Solo 05 Gaming on the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel. Thank you so much for those of you that showed up. I see you, Louie, in the chat. Xbox International Podcast, Hammy Solo kind of dude up in here. I see you, Hammy. I see you saying Hammy breaking a world record. I don't know what world record I'm breaking, but please let me know so I can at least stay on top of it. But anyways, Graphics God, what's cracking? I see you up in the chat as well. Thank you guys for showing up. Hopefully some more people show up. I don't really care if more people show up or not. I'm happy with you guys. Just kind of kicking back, talking about some games, talking about what's been going on as of lately. It should be a good time. Should be a dang good episode today. Oh, Sky L. Oh, what's cracking? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping through. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe. But let's go on ahead and get started, y'all. Let's talk about some stuff because we got quite a bit to talk about today, actually. So I'm going to get right on into it. The first thing I wanted to bring to you guys today is something that got announced yesterday I thought was pretty cool. The Xbox Elite Series 2 Core Red and Blue controller are up for pre-orders right now. If you were looking to get it, you're gonna have to wait until it gets sent out to you. Unfortunately, I just bought an Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, right? And it's fantastic. I love it. But of course, a couple days after I do it, they announce, hey, we got new colors and stuff. That would have been cool to have, but you know what? I'm fine with what I got. It's literally nothing new. See, if they would have announced Xbox Elite Series 3, I would have took my joint right back to Best Buy. Got rid of that joint, got me a brand new one, but just a new color, nothing to trip out about, but it is pretty cool. They look pretty nice. This is what they kind of look like right here. In the article right here, it's not a whole lot to read, but I'll read just the first paragraph of it. It says the Elite Series 2 is a fantastic update on an already terrific controller, and if you are in the market to get one, but you're not too fond of the default black and white color schemes, then two more vibrant options are now available. These versions of the premium controller feature a blue or red design wrapping the majority of the peripheral in a more eye-catching design. Cool. I mean, hey, it does look good. I like that red one. I ain't gonna cap. I like that red one. But No, I just bought a controller. I just bought the Elite Series 2, so I'm good. But if you guys are interested in it, check it out. It is on sale now. All right. Howdy. Back to you, HTK360. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. Skyl said, I'm holding out for a Starfield controller. Not a bad idea. We'll actually get into something else that's game related, and actually that's game related with controller and the console and whatnot. But there was like some sort of rumor, I believe, out for a Diablo console kind of thing that's going to happen. And see, I don't know if this is going to be like some sort of sweepstakes or if they're going to have it for sale or anything like that. So I can't tell you anything more than that. But hey, Diablo stuff is pretty cool. And I tell you what, I played the heck out of the demo the last few weeks that it was out. Didn't really get to play it too much this last weekend, but I still played hours of it. I just didn't get to play as many hours as I did the first weekend, which was super dope. Oh, 4GQTV, what's cracking? Comes up in the chat saying, I got the same shirt. Walmart, homie. Walmart. I actually got a super dope Yu Yu Hakusho shirt just a couple of days ago. It's all pink. I usually don't wear pink, but Yu Yu Hakusho, I gotta do it. I like it. But anyways, Ashes comes in the chat. What's cracking, Ashes? Good to see you, brother. Really good to see you. I see you said love Jaffe, man. You never know what to expect. That's a fact. And you also got the Black Elite 2. And yeah, it's a lovely controller. All of the features that's on it, the trigger stops, the extra different thumbsticks that you can put on to kind of get to your liking, the D-pad. I have had zero issues with it yet, and I've only charged it once so far. Apparently it has like a 40-hour battery life, which is insane. And I tell you what, I was tired of changing batteries every other day, if not every day. It's super annoying. But anyways, moving on, because like I said, we got some other stuff that we need to talk about. So let's keep moving. If you have the season pass or the DLC to Forza Horizon 5, now is the time to play it, because they just dropped the DLC for it earlier today. I believe it came out 11 o'clock Eastern. But it's available now. If you're having trouble downloading it, I actually dealt with that last time for the Hot Wheels DLC. So if you're having trouble getting it to show up on your Xbox, just walk up to your Xbox, hold the power button until it shuts off the Xbox, unplug it for like 10 to 30 seconds. I'd say like 10 seconds is sufficient. Plug it back in, turn it on, it'll boot everything. Try to go back into Horizon again, and the update should work. It happened to me previously, and it happened to me previously in the last Forza Horizon, and it's happened with me with other games on the Xbox. It's the Xbox, for some reason, sometimes when there's a launch for something, you need to like clear the cache of the console itself for it to kind of re-update itself, bring everything forward, and then your download should show up quite quickly. Really simple stuff, but not a lot of people know it. But yeah, Xbox can be finicky sometimes. It is still a piece of hardware made by humans, so it's gonna screw up every once in a while, just like any other piece of hardware out there that's electronic. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, but also just to toss out, Forza Horizon 5 adds DLSS 3 support just ahead of its DLC launch. So this was written by Georgie Yang on the 28th. So just yesterday morning, he wrote this, and he says, NVIDIA has pushed out a new update onto PCs that support NVIDIA DLSS 3 and NVIDIA Reflex for Forza Horizon 5 a day before its new expansion Rally Adventure releases. When the update is installed, DLSS 3 enables GeForce RTX 40 series GPUs to break the 120 FPS barrier at 4K, which is wild, which is extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. HTK YouTube, he said everyone loves ham, even vegetarians. Oh yeah, that's true. My mama's a vegetarian. She loves ham. You're right. Anyways, to continue the conversation, it says the counter at the top right of the video shows the game's frame rate, sometimes even pushing past the 200 mark. So that FPS counter on the top right corner of this picture that you're seeing right here, I'm going ahead and hit the play button just so you can kind of see what's going on. Let's go back part way into the video so we don't see all that fluff. But I mean, obviously my screen right here is 165 frames, but YouTube I think is only going to 60 FPS. So you're not going to be able to see what these frames look like through this screen, but you can see the FPS count on the top right corner showing that DLSS 3 ray tracing is turned on, with it getting easily above 150 FPS regularly. So that is absolutely insane. Skyl says that frame generation tech is insane. Literally double your FPS. Yes, you are absolutely correct. It is really crazy. My buddy Hard Days Mike, talk to him like every day on Xbox, with the crew and whatnot that I kick it with, and he's always talking about how cool frame generation is. I always give him a hard time, tell him to just boot up his PS5 and play a real console. But I always give him a hard time, and just because he was seriously in a long time ago. My buddy Mike used to be, before I even knew him, he used to be a PlayStation guy, turned heavily into an Xbox guy, heavy into Xbox. And now he still loves him some Xbox, but he's always talking about his PC. So I always got to give him stuff about, oh yeah, I mean, it would have worked perfectly if you played it on console, but you decided to play it on PC, where it seems that you get the most broken games. So I always give him a hard time about it, but I can't lie, that frame generation that's part of the 40 series cards is pretty dang impressive. And the ability to do 4K at such a high frame rate, like it's crazy. It's crazy. My wife wants a new PC, and I told her that she can have mine, and I'll build a new one for me. And I'm thinking that might happen sooner than later. Not next week soon, but within this year probably. But anyways, I digress. It says down here, other games such as Diablo 4 and Redfall will receive DLSS 3 support when they launch this year as well. CD Projekt Red also revealed at GDC this year that Cyberpunk 2077 will get an even beefier form of ray tracing called path tracing. Whoa, new words, or at least for me, in April. Forza Horizon 5's Rally Adventure expansion has players explore the rugged terrain of Sierra Nueva, filled with dust and sand. It's the game's second expansion after 2022's Hot Wheels DLC, which was absolutely fire. If you haven't played the Horizon 5 DLC, I highly recommend you go check that out, play it. You don't have to get too crazy far into the story before you can open up that DLC part. It's really fun, but I'm currently really excited because my favorite races in Forza were the Baja races and stuff like that. So I cannot wait to get into this DLC because this is supposed to be all about the dirt. Let's go. All right, so I think that's good enough on this article. All right, let's see what's cracking. Oh, Sour Blow, what's cracking? He says, what's up? Good to see you up in the house, brother. Skyl says, I have a 3060, so I'm stuck with with DLSS2. Yeah, I got 3080. It's okay. I mean, these 40 series cards are just insane. They're just insane. It is what it is. With your 3060, you're still going to be able to play a ton of crap for a long time. Just a 4K 60 stuff ain't gonna be happening, or 4K past that. It's gonna be hard to push anything like that. But anyways, moving on, I wanted to talk about, as I was saying earlier, there's gonna be, because somebody said something about wanting, or maybe I was thinking about how there's gonna be different editions. Oh yeah, I was talking about Diablo 4, how there's gonna be that new console, or the Diablo 4 edition of a Series X that you can purchase at some point. But here is a big deal right here. If you're in a Nintendo, you can get the Nintendo Switch right now. OLED model, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, let's go. For $350. Pretty much. $359.99 is what you're getting for that. I don't think that's too terrible. I honestly don't think that's too terrible. You get all the good looking stuff. If you're a big Zelda fan, I'm not, to be honest, but my wife would love this if I got this for her. But the thing is, she doesn't play enough games for me to get her a whole new console. And plus she already has a Switch. So she gonna have to deal with that old school Switch. We don't have the OLED one. We have 2 regular Switches. Now, I do have Breath of the Wild, which she loves, and that's pretty much the only game that she plays on Switch, unless we're playing couch co-op games. But yeah, this is the game that I'm going to be getting her. She doesn't know it yet. But once Tears of the Kingdom drops, I'm gonna buy the game for her. I'm not buying this device. Don't need that. But this is really cool if you're a big Nintendo fan. I know Mr. Joanna Dark said that he pre-ordered it, and I was just like, bro, that's fantastic as a backup. Go on ahead and just put that sucker in the closet, though. Let that sucker gain some money as it, as time goes by. Some things get more worth the money, or worth more, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I'm thinking. Anyways, very good stuff. Sour Blow says he has a 3070 Ti. Great card. 3070 Ti. That's bumping up close to my 3080 there, bud. HTK360 says, TSWS Gaming, 4GQ TV, we at NLG plan on racing on Thursday. All are welcome to join us. I'm down to race this Thursday, especially if it's on Forza. I'm 100% down to do that. Yeah, Asha said he might consider it. Sour Blow says, or you can get the Steam Deck and all the Nintendo. Yeah, see, that's messy right there. That's messy right there, Sour Blow. You could do that. You could be like Kay Asante and be messy like that. But hey, that's your prerogative. I know on my Steam Deck right here, this bad boy is my Windows deck right here. Everyone calls it the Steam Deck. I call it the Windows deck. I turn it on and it immediately boots in to Windows. I'm pretty sure it almost always does. I'm gonna go on ahead and hold it here just to see, because I just hit the on button on it. See it showing the Steam logo and stuff like that right now. But I'm like 95% sure that this thing goes straight, and unless I go into the BIOS, it will go straight into Windows every single time, or else it seems like it could be loading up the Steam OS right now, but I just doubt it. See, there's Windows. See, I just turned this on cold, right? And it boots straight into Windows for me. Bam. Nothing I can do about it. Not that I even want to change it. I like it. It's the Windows deck. It's not the Steam Deck anymore. The Windows deck. All right. All right. Yeah. So HTK 360 confirmed. Yes. Forza Horizon 5 is going to be the game that they're going to be racing. And of course, I think that's the best game for us all to jump in and be able to play each other. Skyle says, not gonna lie, the Switch needs anti-aliasing bad. I can't. I mean, it needs a lot. It needs more than just anti-aliasing. I tell you that much. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Skyle. But I tell you what, it needs a lot more than that. It needs a lot more than that. Also says Dolphin emulator is coming to Steam. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. So just hold the phone, okay? But moving on to the next topic. Oh, actually, I think this is the topic. If I can get it to pull up, might have to go back and find the topic again. But yeah, let me do that real quick while this is loading up. This is gonna drive me insane. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to actually talk about next. So it's kind of funny that you brought that up. Yeah, right here. Let me put it up on the screen. Get rid of this one that's not loading. So yeah, right here, GameCube and Wii emulator Dolphin is coming to Steam this year. So that's funny that you brought that up. Perfect segue, actually. So this article is written by Wes Benton from PCGamer.com. As you know, for the most part, I like to shout out the person that wrote the article if I'm going to read a good portion of it. So for this, it says, a year ago, I wrote about the Steam Deck being the emulation system of my dreams. And it's only gotten better since then, thanks to projects like EmuDeck that simplify the process of getting emulators up and running on a handheld, but it can't get any easier than clicking install in Steam. And that soon going to be the reality for Dolphin, the incredible GameCube and Wii emulator I use to play games like Mario Galaxy and Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker in 4K. It's officially coming to Steam. A Steam release for Dolphin has been in development for some time, though it's not live yet. It's currently listed on Steam stores, and I can concur with that. It is on the Steam store. I've seen it in my Steam OS when I was screwing around with the desktop mode. I've seen it in there. But anyways, continuing on. It's currently listed on the Steam store for a release in Q2 of this year. Amusingly, though, understandably, the screenshot Okay. There we go. All right. So I don't know what happened. I don't know. That was crazy. For some reason, my audio just kind of cut out and went away. So OBS is having a problem right now. I need to update it or do something. I don't know what the heck did happen right there. But anyways, I'm back. Hopefully you guys can hear me again. L's in the chat if you can hear me. Just throw an L in the chat if you can hear me. Somebody, please do that for me so I can continue where I left off. All I need is an L, and I'm going to keep going. Hopefully you can hear me, but I don't know. L's in the chat if you can hear me. Somebody let me know. Okay, great. Graphics God came through. Let me know. Thank you, Sour Blow, as well. Coming through. Sky L. Oh, man, you guys, I appreciate you guys coming through. Letting me know because I had no idea that my mic cut out. I don't even remember where I was, but here, I'll just go on ahead and just read this last paragraph just in case you guys missed it. But it says a Dolphin developer on the community Discord confirmed that Steam version will allow users to choose in development builds of the emulator, which is good. The last stable release was nearly 7 years ago, and the emulator has made enormous improvements since. With the Steam Deck in mind, here's hoping Dolphin Steam release brings with it a new control-friendly UI, which is super dope. Thank you for GQTV 3-bit. I see you guys. Thank you so much for confirming that you guys can actually hear me this time. Make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I do this show every Wednesday. Sweet tea. I will here in a little bit, okay? Oh man, so my daughter showed up in the room. I'm having all kinds of crazy stuff happening, but my daughter is very understanding. Took off. She's gonna go play for a little bit. She's off of school for the day. She's a 5-year-old. She's off of school for the day. On Wednesdays, hump day, for whatever reason, they don't do school on Wednesdays for preschool, so I guess that's fine. But anyways, moving on. All right, so this is big news for the Steam Deck. The whole dude, it's already a dope emulation device. They're now making it easier for you to emulate games, which is just absolutely fire. Game preservation is at an all-time high, in my opinion, as of right now. But let's actually move on to the next article that I have going on, since this one got botched. Let's go over to the, oh, Lord, this is not good. So Ubisoft is in, they're a dumpster fire right now. They're not looking so good. So it says right here that reports allege crunch culture at Ubisoft Paris include 13-hour days. Okay, it says Just Dance 2023 developers reportedly suffered from crunch culture, according to Enemy report. So this article was written by Joseph Yaden off of GameSpot.com. It says Ubisoft Paris, the developer of Just Dance series, has reportedly suffered from crunch culture. A new report states. The report comes from NME and includes an investigation into the French developer with quotes from anonymous developers at Ubisoft. According to Ubisoft developers, the engine for Just Dance 2023 has been changed 11 months before the game shipped. Yikes, that doesn't sound good. This caused tremendous difficulties internally as employees attempted to learn the new engine. A source said that certain team members were able to learn quickly, which caused managements to add more and more features, resulting in a larger workload. Ubisoft apparently still hadn't deciding on a production engine 9 months before the production cycle was over. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of Ubisoft out here? They are just creating fire after fire. It seems like Ubisoft and Square Enix are at battle on who could be the worst big dev. Who could be the worst current big dev? I think it hands down goes to Square Enix. But Ubisoft is like, wait, hold my beer. I got something else stupid to do. and they come out here and, oh my goodness, they're not looking so good. I mean, we've been talking, it feels, about Ubisoft heavily, I believe, at least since January. Now we're almost 4 months into the year and Ubisoft is still coming off. And it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 3-Bit said, I left Ubisoft at the perfect time. LOL. Yikes. That's too bad that you have to say that. Skyle says, very bad for a yearly release game. You know what? I mean, they keep doing stuff to themselves and then asking why they're in a bad situation. I don't understand. But anyways, the article continues to say overtime became the norm during Just Dance 2023 production as indicated by the Ubisoft source. During daily meetings, some employees were explicitly encouraged to work overtime. Ooh, explicitly. That's not great. The developer said. The developer says they work 13-hour shifts with QA testers, often upwards of 15-hour days. Some employers reportedly worked even longer. Developers also called the game's pre-production a mess, as management would force ideas that had to be considered at all costs. Once the creative vision is clear, it is presented to technical experts and often impossible to achieve, said a source. Either they have no choice but to achieve the impossible, or we are forced to change everything. This is morally and physically exhausting for employees. Developers apparently wanted to delay Just Dance 2023, but management declined, emphasizing a need to get the game out by Christmas. A source said that their knowledge, every project at UB Paris is affected by crunch culture. Ubisoft declined to comment on the report when asked by GameSpot. This is a freaking mess for Ubisoft Paris. That's too bad that they're doing this. And I mean, for a yearly game. I mean, so what's going to happen? They're going to launch this and immediately have to get into the next one. It's not a great thing. That's not a great thing. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Maybe you guys can tell me in the chat where your head's at with this whole Ubisoft thing. Do you think that they're gonna pull themselves out of the gutter within this next year? We already know that they're not. We already know that they're not going to be at E3. We heard some rumblings within the jungle that is gaming that, you know, hey, Mirage might be pushed back a little bit further. That Assassin's Creed game that's supposed to be coming out. Tortoise Hawaii in the chat said there's no redeemable quality about Ubisoft as a company at this point. I don't know, man. I like to be optimistic. That's probably why I am, you know, the way that I am. I'm fairly positive about things that seem pretty negative quite a bit. I just don't know. I hope the best for Ubisoft. I absolutely love the Far Cry games. I really wish they'd go back and do Ghost Recon the right way, make it linear instead of open world. They have so many great IPs for Ubisoft. I mean, hell, they did Fractured But Whole for South Park, and I thought that game was fantastic. Although it did have the Ubisoft kind of the Ubisoft ingredients added to it, which made it kind of weird and sometimes felt a little too expansive. But hey, it was still a really fun game. Especially since I'm not into turn-based. Ubisoft actually got me to sit down and play a turn-based game, which was pretty dope. Skyle said, I feel like their games are a parody of good open world games. Damn, that's cold. As Aushus says, no one wants to take on all that cost. Yep. So you're talking about possibly being like acquired, maybe? I think Ubisoft, I mean, they're starting to turn into what Activision is trying to get away from, which maybe they always have been that. And now the cover is finally being pulled back. The mask is being taken off, especially with the culture, the way it's changing so much. Everybody's more willing to voice their opinions than they were previously in fear of losing their job or losing, their livelihood. So it's definitely a different time. And it's a very interesting time because we're seeing so many things with so much more clarity than we used to be able to see just a few years ago, especially like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. None of this. You ain't seeing none of this 20 years ago. Not a thing. You might get lucky if you get some good stuff to see on YouTube about a game. You might get lucky 20 years ago. I'm talking about just a couple years ago, you didn't even get this much clarity in certain stuff within gaming. Things are transforming along with, society transforming. Gaming is doing the exact same thing as of right now. Let's see. 3-Bit says, was one of the worst companies I've worked for, to be honest. But some people have an opposite experience and liked working there, so I don't know. LOL. I mean, sure, there's always going to be somebody that's reaping the benefits of the job. There's always going to be somebody out there that's reaping the benefits, that likes things the way they are. They don't want them to change. Everything's great. I don't see a problem. There's always going to be those freaks of nature in the workplace that cap for what the management's out there doing. There's always going to be those people. What's up, Colt Classic Cage? I see you. What up? So I mean, that just because there's a few people that say, "Oh yeah, this is great, this is doing good," that's only because their pockets are being lined or they're happy with where they're at. But that totally, I agree that, or I see what you're saying, more or less. 3-Bit. Just because there's a few people that are cool with it doesn't mean anything's great. Things could be totally messed up, and we're seeing through this article right here. Ubisoft Paris has had enough. I think I talked about them like a month or two ago, actually. They're not happy over there. But anyways, Skyl said Fractured But Whole was a good game. It was. I absolutely love that game. Let's see. Tortoise Hawaii says Ubisoft now reminds me of what THQ was when they went down. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Tortoise Hawaii. I love THQ back in the day. I mean, come on. They had some of, and I know you're talking about when they were going down, right? But when you say THQ, I really go back to like the 64 days where I'm playing a ton of wrestling games. THQ. I loved THQ. No Mercy, WrestleMania, WCW versus NWO. Those were the freaking days. Let's go. All right, so I think we've had enough of this whole conversation about Ubisoft. We already know they're in the dumps. It's not looking good, yada, yada, yada. Let's move on. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, Bloober team. They came out and made an announcement earlier. I'm actually going to pull up the tweet here in just a second because they actually came out and made a announcement on Twitter about what had happened with or what is going on with Silent Hill. All right. So let me get that pulled up real quick. Okay, so yeah, right here. So I will show it on the screen. But let's first talk about what the article says. So before we get into that tweet, it says right here, Mark Joseph Hill wrote this article on Game Rant. It says Bloober team addresses Silent Hill 2 remake release rumors. Silent Hill 2 remake developer Bloober team. Okay, yada yada. It says the same thing. So Silent Hill 2 remakes developer Bloober team has publicly addressed a rumor regarding the anticipated game that began circulating last week. The remake for Silent Hill 2 was announced late last year, but has seen less or seen little more information since, leaving fans clamoring for any details about the beloved IP. It was widely reported last week that Bloober team CEO, I'm gonna screw this name up too, Piat Babino, or I don't know, whatever, told Pap Business that the development of Silent Hill was likely further along than fans expected. He was quoted as having said that Silent Hill 2 is technically ready and close to completion. Babino or whatever apparently continued by highlighting that distribution and promotion of the title would not be handled by Bloober, which usually isn't. But anyways, a statement that was inferred to suggest Bloober may feel prepared for a release date announcement, but Bloober team has now publicly came out to dispute the rumor. In a statement posted, okay, so it has a statement right here. I don't even have to go back to the other page, but it says in the statement posted to the studio's official Twitter account, Bloober began by asserting that it does not typically comment on rumors, but felt it needed to do so here. Let's actually read the article for ourselves. Okay, so here, let me go on ahead and, well, that actually didn't help. It's crazy that you hit the plus button and it seems like it was getting smaller. Okay, so it says right here, let me see if I can scroll down so you guys are actually, I'll just bring it up right here. So now you guys can see it with me. It says, as the Bloober team, we don't comment on rumors. However, this time we need to take the floor, as some recent statements have been taken out of context due to inaccurate translations. Our company message did not contain sales forecasts of specific titles. The figures contacted to Silent Hill 2's refer to the potential success of the type of game we will be focusing on in the future. It is also not true that we have announced that Silent Hill 2 is ready for release. Regardless of the development stage, all of our activities are focused on obtaining the highest quality for the finished product, the quality that fans of Silent Hill 2 deserve. We are aware that players are waiting for more information about Silent Hill 2. As soon as such information becomes available, we are sure that Konami, the publisher for the game, will share it with fans. Thank you for your support, and we will continue to do our best to provide high-quality games that give players the best emotional experiences possible. Okay? So there's that statement right there. There's that. Going back to the article now, it says, although not a direct contradiction of whatever his name's words, the statement does suggest that Silent Hill 2 will not be due to release for some time. That said, in the Bloober team's best interest to take as long as possible with the remake, as its effort will inevitably be compared against the recent Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 release. Let's be real. I don't think it's going to be too much compared to the Dead Space remake, but it will damn sure be compared to the Resident 4 release. And I can only imagine Bloober team might, I don't know. I'm assuming they're sweating after seeing the reviews and everything for Resident Evil 4, because Bloober team is now holding on to an IP. They are holding on to an IP that has been legendary, right? In this game, Silent Hill games, if you try to go buy them used right now, you're spending hundreds of dollars to buy an old ass game for your original PlayStation or PlayStation 2. Okay? So the amount of pressure that's on them to deliver something proper in this situation is freaking insane. It is insane. They said that the medium may have been like some kind of showcase of what they could do. I'm telling you, they better come a lot harder than that. They better come a lot harder than the medium. It better be way better than the medium. The medium, I thought, in my opinion, I beat it, right? I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was great, but it was pretty good. It definitely had a good story. I liked the story. Didn't have that many jump scares, though, in the game, to be honest. All right, so this article continues to say that both Resident Evil and Dead Space were both met with an overwhelmingly amount of praise. Bloober team does not find itself particularly good standing with some members of the horror community, with past criticisms deeming the studio derivative and far behind the likes of Capcom. So that's kind of what I was just saying. They cannot come out here with that medium energy. They have to be a few levels above what they did this last time. I thought the medium was fun, but it was not what you'd want Silent Hill to be. Those excited for Silent Hill 2 hope that Bloober will iterate and improve upon its previous endeavors, and likely pleased to hear that the game that the studio is intent on taking its time. So man, good luck, because you see the score that Resident Evil 4 or the Resident Evil 4 remake has got, right? The reviews, the score that it got was crazy good, but still people are still salty about that game, still review bombing that game. In the game, I played the demo of it, and I was like, man, this is fantastic. I'm not a Resident Evil fan, so I didn't run out and buy it. I'll get it on a sale or something like that. But like, it's a good looking game. It feels real nice. When I was playing that demo, I can only imagine what the full game feels like. So when it comes to Silent Hill, I'm just like, Bloober, good freaking luck, man. It seems like you're in a situation where you're definitely not going to please everybody. Hopefully you can please enough, though. Hopefully. All right, so moving forward to one of the last articles that I got here. So I heard there was actually a patch update for this that was like 30 megabytes or something like that, or some sort of, smaller, obscure number in our day and age of megabytes came out to The Last of Us that possibly patched the game. But as of yesterday, this was written or whatnot. So it says some Last of Us players are experiencing hour-long load times. Last of Us Part 1 on PC is having problems as users report running into ridiculously long load times before they can start playing. All right, so before I get into this, let me go on ahead and check on the chat, see what's going on. Cult Classic Cage, talking about THQ a little while back, says at least made good games. Disrespectful. All right, so anyways, Matt Likes Games says, bro, I am forever thinking this show goes live at 3 my time, laughing my ass off. What up, folks? I appreciate you for showing up regardless. I don't care if you're here on time or if you watch it later on. As a matter of fact, you only post videos, Matt, that people can watch later on. So, I mean, I actually watched your video earlier. Thank you for the shout out on your channel. Talking about the Windows deck, as I call it. The Windows deck, the Windows deck. It's fantastic. Okay? Get yourself a Windows deck. Don't get a Steam deck. Get a Windows deck. All right? But he also says, also Forza Horizon Rally Adventure DLC update just came out a few minutes ago, if anyone was waiting for that. So I think it came out. I thought it came out a little while ago, but you had to, I don't know. If it just came out, cool. I already talked about that though. So going ahead and get yourself into Forza Horizon 5's new DLC. It looks fantastic. Graphics God comes through and says, I loved 7 and 8, but I cannot get attached to the third person ones like 2 and 4. I don't know. See, like I said, I'm not that big into Resident Evil. So if you have your style and the way that you like to play it, hey, do your thing, man. I know 8 had that update that my buddy Matt talks about where you could go into third person from first person, but it sounds like you like being in first person. Skyle says fast load times are PlayStation exclusive. Oh no. Yep, see, this is why I tell my buddy Mike, if you want to play and get the best experience, play it on PlayStation. Put that 4080 away. Put that 4090 away. Play it on PlayStation if you want the best PlayStation game experience. Because they don't care about PC. Which is funny. We'll get into that here in just a little bit ago. Before you guys go crazy on what I just said, we'll get into that here in just a little bit ago. And by the way, if you guys are just joining me, make sure you hit that like button. Share this out. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'd love to see it. But anyways, getting to one of the last articles we have here. As I was saying earlier, some of the Last of Us PC players are experiencing hour load times or whatnot. So it says right here, and this article is written by Parth Bagaria on Game Rant. So it says some gamers have reported experiencing hour load times while playing The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. The game is a remake of the PS3 original from 2013 and featured upgraded visuals and redone character models. It came out on PS5 in September 2022 and released for PC March 28th, yesterday, with the PC port being handled by Naughty Dog and Iron Galaxy. It looks like players have been dealing with numerous issues with the PC version of The Last of Us Part 1, resulting in it getting review bombed on Steam. Last of Us Part 1 currently has a rating of mostly negative on the storefront. On that storefront, with many users expressing their disappointment with the game optimization, it seems like several gamers are experiencing crashes while trying to play The Last of Us Part 1 on PC despite being above the recommended hardware specs. Some of the players are also running into ridiculously long load times when trying to play the game. As reported by MP First, The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is taking over an hour to finish building shaders. Some users, MP First itself ran tests with a PC slightly above recommended specs, taking around an hour to build shaders, and high-end system requiring just under 45 minutes to do the same. Furthermore, the report states The Last of Us Part 1 seems to be using 100% of the CPU, resulting in the hardware running hot for an extended duration. Oh man, that's not good. So MP First mentioned that both of their GPUs, a GeForce RTX 3080, which is what I have, and a GeForce RTX 4090 struggled to maintain 60 FPS. That's bad. That is really bad. A 4090 struggling to maintain a constant 60 FPS. I know my 3080, I feel like my 3080 should be crushing it. It should be like 90 or so. I mean, maybe not 90, but like, at least like 70 or something. But the 4090 should be hitting over $1. What's going on here? So that's crazy. These GPUs are well above the recommended system requirements of The Last of Us Part 1 on PC, while a GeForce RTX 4080 or Radeon RX 7900 XT is required to play the game on ultra settings. Many of Sony's PC ports didn't have such issues at launch, making The Last of Us Part 1 one of the few PlayStation games on PC to have received a negative rating. The PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn did have some problems when it first came out, but those issues were patched later on. Naughty Dog has confirmed that, or on Twitter, that it is aware of the problem faced by some PC users while playing The Last of Us Part 1 and stated that the team is working to address these issues in an upcoming patch, which, like I said at the beginning of this article, they did have like a 25 or 30 or some sort of megabyte. It was only in the megabytes. It wasn't in the gigs. It was only in the megs. Update for you to possibly have a fix for the game. So this situation may be already taken care of, but just in case it's not, I wanted to report on it just to have it out there. All right, so let's run to the chat one more time before we get to this last topic. Or before we get to, I think is the last topic. I might want to throw one more thing in there just to make things a little bit more spicy, but I don't know yet. But anyways, let's go back. So Skiles, or I already read that one. So Asha says Cass is right. THQ was legit. Remember when Saints Row was good? THQ did that. Hey, I like it. Skyle, all right. Skyle says LOL. Matt Likes Game says no problem, man. Dorian says definitely Iron Galaxy. Yeah, it seems like Iron Galaxy is something. There's something. Not something that a lot of people are seeming to like right now. But Cult Classic Cage says garbage port that Sony sent out. No review codes for Cyberpunk 2077 all over again. All right, so she's saying no review codes were sent out to this Last of Us Part 1 remake on PC. and it's starting to feel like another Cyberpunk situation for the PC, though. I guess that's interesting. That's an interesting take. Called Classic Cage. Skyle says 4090 can't even brute force it. Wow, which is embarrassing. Yes, I'm telling you, that's embarrassing. The strongest GPU out there can barely or cannot keep up with the power of the PS5. Oh gosh. The power of the PS5 is just too strong. Oh my god. 4090. Out the fucking way. That's funny. All right, so Graphics God says, you know, the PS5 is a powerhouse rivaling the see, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. It's a powerhouse. It's flexing. It's fucking underdog up in these streets. Beat the hell out of anybody. Right? That SSD, the Kraken, the Kraken compression is added again. It's too tough. It crushes any other PCIe port. Get out of here, NVMe. You're nothing compared to the PS5's SSD, the Kraken compression, the powerhouse that be. Matt Likes Game says 1 hour load times. Those preach shaders are hitting on PC. Yikes. Yeah. All right. So I think I tackled that enough. That's interesting. Last of Us. That's unfortunate because they just had such a great showing for their show. And if you're going from the TV show and then hopping onto your PC and having this happen, that's not a good feeling. All in all, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll get it fixed and it'll be fine. But this isn't a good look. And I tell you what, Sony hasn't had a whole lot of good looks this month, in my opinion. They crushed it with sales. Their console sales and stuff like that are out of pocket right now. Benji Sales came out on Twitter and said, yo, like, in February, the PlayStation beat out the PlayStation 2 all-time sales number for that time of the year. They said PlayStation 2's best February wasn't as good as this February for the PS5. Same with the PS4 as well, which is insane. Congrats to them. Congrats to them. I'm happy to hear that they are doing fine. They are doing fine. Don't let Jim know that they're doing fine. He thinks they're doing terrible right now, right? But speaking of The Last of Us, right, and Naughty Dog and whatnot, one of these last episodes, one of these last topics I wanted to talk about says right here, Naughty Dog's PC support will continue moving forward. So some are saying this is nothing. Some are saying this is just a nothing burger. Of course, they're gonna still be messing around with PC. The way that I kind of took this is, they want that cash a little sooner than we thought. We may be seeing Sony games coming to PC a little sooner than we anticipated. I think we are 100% gonna see day and date games from Sony with PC. So PC and the PlayStation launch, I feel, are going to be at the same time. May not happen for the rest of this year, but I think that window is closing, and I feel like it's almost shut. They're about ready to do this, but let me get into what Graphic Scott said before I get into this article. He says, do you think the alleged shady practices in Japan or in Japan are what pushed perception? I don't know. That's an interesting concept, though. It possibly could be, because it seems like anything that's on the PS5 but seemingly goes to PC, like, I don't know, maybe that's kind of far-fetched to even say that it seems like things are being broken on the PC versions of these PlayStation games or something like that. That might be a little far-fetched. I don't want to get that far into the weeds. But yo, like some of the last few showings haven't been so good. And let's keep in mind, this isn't all on just Sony. I'm talking about like Forspoken as well, which is a PlayStation game, but we know how in the sack Square Enix is with PlayStation. So I mean, I think that you do have an interesting perspective that that maybe you should continue to talk about on Retro Renegades, bruh. Bring that topic back up, because that'd be an interesting topic for a whole panel to talk about. Bounce ideas back and forth and whatnot. I just don't know how to answer that right now. Skyl said, hope Nixus is working on that day one Spider-Man 2 port. Oh my goodness. He said day one. See, I don't know if it's gonna happen that soon. Skyle. I don't know if it's gonna happen that soon. It's gonna be, if we see Spider-Man 2 come day and date on the PC, you can might as well just say goodbye to everything else. Everything else is going to PC day and date if Spider-Man 2 ends up there as well. But I don't know. I don't know. I know I feel like Sony might be too proud to come out and do that soon. Especially after having that we're not doing anything for a little over a year after the release of a game. Not that long ago, just a few months back, they said that. So, interesting. You're just talking about why sales are so great. Still, I'm not sure their graphics, God. Yeah, I mean, it totally could be. It totally could be. But I tell you, let me get into this article so we can, so I can get my head right now, because my brain's a little all over the place. So it says up here that the Naughty Dog's PC support will continue moving forward. The Last of Us Part 1 won't be the last Naughty Dog PC game. Of course not, because there's The Last of Us Part 2. But anyways, this says The Last of Us Part 1 won't be Naughty Dog's final PC game. The studio has confirmed the PS5 exclusive remake of The Last of Us just launched on PC on Tuesday. And to commemorate its launch, Naughty Dog published a blog detailed a few interesting factoids about the port development. For example, the developers took great pains to make sure mouse and keyboard controls are just as tactile and emotional as using a PS5 DualSense controller. What does that mean? I mean, I understand the whole tactile part, but what does the emotional part mean? Am I gonna get haptic feedback out of my keyboard all of a sudden? Is it just gonna start shaking? I don't understand what that means, but okay. The studios also said there was a large amount of tuning, tweaking, and even rethinking when it comes to optimizing The Last of Us Part 1 for PC, particularly with regards to GPU performance. At the end of the blog, there's a section subtitled The Road Ahead, where Naughty Dog said they'll keep making PC game alongside its PS5 titles. though it didn't clarify whether that means all of its games or just a select few will get PC ports. Rest assured, PlayStation and PC players were already looking forward to sharing more, whether you prefer a DualSense controller or a keyboard and mouse. Developing for both platform empowers us to incorporate lessons learned from either into the overall design of our games, share our stories and experiences on PS5 as well as PCs, is something that Naughty Dog has embraced and will continue to support moving forward. Again, the studio didn't reveal any specifics about what it's working on next, but plenty of fans are convinced Last of Us Part 3 is on the way. Naughty Dog's co-president Neil Druckmann recently said the studio had already decided on its next title following Last of Us 2 multiplayer project, but wouldn't say what it was. In the meantime, here are some games like the last. Okay, whatever. All right, so interesting, right? Like I said, I think this is more of a signal to saying we might see. I mean, some might say that it's far-fetched that I'm thinking this, but I'm thinking that we're going to start seeing things be more day and day as they get more used to working on the PC. I'm hoping it's sooner than later. Why leave money on the table to pick up later? I don't know. I think it's weird, but hey, it's them and they're pretty good at marketing. So who am I? Mishi, what's up? What's cracking? Thanks for popping up. Dorian says 6 months would 6 months would be fine. Yeah, 6 months would even be interesting. But that's still like, as soon as you launch it 6 months, then you're getting outside of the year window that you're talking about. And then you got me hopping on to another podcast to say, look how much closer it is. It's going to be day and date next year or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, the more that they kind of scratch at that year, the keyboard's going to cry, Matt. Yeah, I didn't understand that part. That part was super weird. That it's gonna give you emotions on your keyboard. I don't know what that means at all. I think that's kind of weird. But anyways, yo, this was a pretty fun show. I think I might actually have time to throw on that last topic. So let me go see if I can look it up real quick, grab that sucker while you guys are kind of kicking it here. Again, I appreciate everybody that showed up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you haven't already, share this out. Let people know that your boy Ham Solo went live today. But anyways, oh Lord, here it is. So, I mean, this is a little bit of shade. I think it's interesting, and I feel like I don't have to, but I feel like I really want to talk about this real quick just to get it out. So I didn't put it in the thumbnail at all because I wasn't sure. I mean, in reality, I just didn't have any more room in the thumbnail to put it in. I'm sure I could have made room, but here we are. So this is the last article that I wanted to talk about real quick. Yeah. So quick update on the deal, but more or less what Mr. Bobby Kotick had to say in an email. So I thought this right here was very interesting stuff, and this would be a fantastic way to end today's stream. Thank you everybody that came out. So going on through this, which this article, well, it just says Bobby Kotick. So yeah, this is an email from him saying, team, as you know, our proposed merger with Microsoft is under review by regulatory agencies around the world, some coverage of which you may have seen recently in the press. I will continue to provide updates regarding the deal. We remain confident that the transaction will ultimately be approved. Last month, our team travel to Brussels and London with the team from Microsoft to speak at closed-door hearings with the European Commission and the Competition and Market Authority, CMA. In the UK, during these hearings, Microsoft proposed thoughtful, generous remedies to address regulators' concerned and made additional announcements reinforcing the pledge to bring more games to more players around the world. These include contractual commitments to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo and games to NVIDIA for 10 years. Recently announced similar cloud services agreements with, Boosteroid and Ubisoft. Our proposed merger will help us compete in the increasingly competitive marketplace that includes rapidly growing foreign powerful companies that enjoy protecting their home markets and access to strong talent pools. The partnership with Microsoft will enable us to more effective compete against these market leader competitors. The good news is regulators who initially had concerns about console competition are starting to better understand our industry. The data and evidence Microsoft has been presenting are tilting the scale. You may have seen statements from Sony, including argument that if this deal goes through, Microsoft could release deliberately buggy versions of our games on PlayStation. We all know our passionate players would be the first to hold Microsoft accountable for keeping its promise of content and quality parity. And all of us who work so hard to deliver the best games in our industry cares too deeply about our players to ever launch subpar versions of our game. Sony has even admitted that they aren't actually concerned about Call of Duty's agreement. They would just like to prevent our merger from happening. This is obviously disappointing behavior from our partner for almost 30 years, but we will not allow Sony's behavior to affect our long-term relationship. PlayStation players know we will continue to deliver the best games possible on Sony platforms as we have since launch of PlayStation. We will continue to have discussions with European and UK regulators until the decision dates, which we expect in the coming months. You may have also seen today that the Japan Fair Trade Commission found the deal wouldn't harm competition and unconditionally cleared out transactions. We will update you again when we have more information to share. Our team is working collaboratively with Microsoft to make sure we have answers to the many questions you have about the progress of the merger. We will continue to be helpful, supportive, and transparent as we progress through the regulatory process. Thank you for staying focused on ensuring our players continue to have the best games on the maintaining the best workplace for our colleagues. With appreciation, Bobby. Interesting stuff, right? Very interesting stuff. I find it funny that right here in this article, where it says this paragraph, or this part of the paragraph right here, says Sony has even admitted that they aren't actually concerned about the Call of Duty agreement. Bobby's saying this. Bobby, Mr. Kotick is saying this. Sony has admitted that they aren't actually concerned about the Call of Duty agreement. They would just like to prevent our merger from happening. This is obviously disappointing behavior from a partner for almost 30 years. He pretty much, in my opinion, said, yo, Jim Ryan's acting like a baby. Y'all trying to stop us from succeeding when we're the ones that asked Microsoft to buy us. You're being a douche. That's pretty much what he's saying. I find that hella interesting. And it's wild that he's saying, I'm not going to allow that to bother your gamers. I'm not going to allow you to screw up your own gamers. I'm going to come out here and still offer you this deal. I know you don't like it, but your gamers want it. What are you going to do about it? I feel like that's what Bobby came to the table and just said in a very polite way. He said, we've been with y'all since. We've been with y'all since 30 years. And we're just trying to survive. And y'all want to try to stifle us? We see you, but we won't let your fans suffer. It's wild. I don't really like speaking on the behalf of Bobby Kotick because he has a messed up history. But in the sense of this situation right here, I just find it wild that he has to come out. You know what's interesting when you got Bobby Kotick coming out and sounding reasonable, making sense, not pissing everybody off, only pissing off one company instead of the entire, gaming world. So it's interesting to see that. But anyways, I'm going to cut it off right here. I need to get to my daughter. I need to help her out with some stuff. She's hanging out in the front room being super duper good. And I want to hook her up with a little something for being a good daughter. And hanging out while Daddy does his show on Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you so much, though, everybody, for showing up, showing out, being in the chat, saying what you had to say, hitting that like button. Those of you that are new that hit the subscribe button, I appreciate all of you the same. I hope to continue to give you guys good content that you guys can stick around and watch. I had a fantastic time talking about this. Every Wednesday, it seems like I start to lose my voice towards the end of the conversation. Great times. But anyways, I'm going to stop right then and there and just tell everybody out there to make sure that you're keeping it gaming or keeping it moving. Peace out.